My beloved brothers and sisters, when we begin to reflect on the reality of life, one of the first things that comforts the heart is the certainty that Allah is Al-Razak, the provider of all. Everything that breathes, everything that walks upon this earth, every bird in the sky, every fish in the sea, and every leaf that falls is sustained only by Him. The Quran reminds us of this countless times, reassuring us that provision is not something we need to chase endlessly with fear and anxiety, but something Allah has already decreed. Often in the rush of our lives, when we face struggles with our finances, our health, or even our emotional needs, we begin to wonder if perhaps we have been left behind. But the truth is, Allah never leaves His servants empty-handed. Even when we feel like we have nothing, we are in fact surrounded by His countless blessings. Think about the simple gift of waking up each morning. Did we earn the air we breathe? Did we create the water we drink? Did we control the heartbeat that kept us alive in the night? These are provisions from Allah, gifts so constant that we sometimes fail to recognize them. Even in moments when material wealth is absent, when opportunities seem scarce, Allah provides in other ways, through strength in our hearts, through love in our families, through clarity in our minds, and through hope that keeps us moving forward. This is His mercy at work, ensuring that none of us are ever truly abandoned. But human beings often look only at what they want and forget what they already have. We measure provision by the weight of our wallets, the success of our jobs, or the possessions we own. Yet Allah's provision extends far beyond material wealth. It is in the peace that settles in your heart when you call upon Him in prayer, in the unexpected help that comes your way just when you feel overwhelmed, in the opportunities that arrive at the perfect moment when you thought the doors had closed forever. Allah is always giving, always sustaining, always providing, even in ways we cannot see. There are moments in life when the heart feels heavy, when the mind questions, and when patience wears thin. It is in those moments that Satan whispers doubts, making us feel as though we have been left alone. But Allah says in the Quran, "And whoever relies upon Allah, then He is sufficient for him." This is not just a statement, it is a promise. When we trust Allah and recognize that He is the ultimate source of provision, we begin to see blessings even in our trials. What feels like emptiness is often preparation for something greater, something our limited understanding cannot yet grasp. So never despair, never think that your silence, your tears, or your struggles go unnoticed. Allah is Al-Razak. He sees, He hears, and He provides in ways you could never imagine. And when you hold on to that certainty, your heart will find peace knowing that you will never be left empty-handed. One of the greatest truths of our journey in this world is that life is not meant to be smooth and perfect. There will be delays, there will be tests, and there will be moments when we cry out to Allah wondering why things are not happening when we want them to. But those very moments are not a sign that Allah has turned away from us. Rather, they are a sign that He is drawing us closer to Him through patience. The delay is not neglect, it is a gift, and the hardship is not abandonment. It is an opportunity to build strength in our faith. Allah tells us clearly that He will test us with fear, with hunger, with loss, and with hardship, but He also promises glad tidings for those who remain patient. This is because patience is not just about waiting. It is about how we wait, how we trust, and how we surrender to His wisdom. When we look around, we realize that everything in life follows a process, a timing set by Allah. A seed does not become a tree overnight. The night does not turn into day in a blink, and even the rain that falls must first gather in the clouds before it nourishes the earth. In the same way, our own lives unfold through moments of waiting, and it is in these pauses that our faith is tested. Sometimes Allah withholds what we desire because He wants to purify our hearts, to strengthen our character and to remind us that nothing happens without His permission. The test of patience is not meant to break us but to elevate us, so that when His blessings finally arrive, we are ready to appreciate them with gratitude. Patience also teaches us humility. It shows us that we are not in control, no matter how much we plan or prepare. When things don't go according to our timing, we often feel frustrated or disheartened. But if we shift our perspective, we will see that these delays are Allah's way of protecting us, of redirecting us to something better. A job we didn't get, a door that closed, a dream that was postponed. These may have seemed like disappointments at first, but how many times have we later looked back and realized that what we thought was a loss was actually a blessing? Patience allows us to see beyond the surface, to trust that Allah's plan is unfolding in ways we cannot yet see. So never mistake the silence of waiting as a sign of being forgotten. Patience is proof that Allah's timing is perfect, and it is through patience that we truly show our trust in Him. And when you remain steadfast, you will realize that Allah never leaves you waiting without reason. He is only preparing you for something far greater than what you imagined. Many times in life, we find ourselves in situations where we feel that our prayers are not being answered, or that what we have been longing for is being delayed without reason. We look at others and wonder why their paths seem smoother while ours feels filled with obstacles. But what we often fail to realize is that there are hidden blessings in delay. Allah, in His infinite wisdom, sometimes withholds what we desire not because He does not want to give it, but because He knows that the timing, the circumstances, or even the very thing we are asking for may not be good for us at that moment. This delay, though painful to endure, is actually His protection, His mercy, and His preparation for something far greater than what we can see with our limited eyes. Think of the child who begs for something sharp or dangerous, not realizing the harm it could cause. The loving parent, though able to hand it over, withholds it for the child's own safety. In the same way, Allah withholds certain things from us, not out of neglect, but out of love. He sees the dangers we cannot see, He knows the outcomes we cannot predict, and He understands what is best for us in ways beyond our imagination. What we perceive as a closed door may actually be the opening of another, far more beautiful door, but we only recognize it later when His wisdom becomes clear to us. There are countless examples in our own lives where something we desperately wanted did not happen, and at the time our hearts felt broken. But then, as time passed, we looked back and realized that if we had gotten what we asked for, it would have brought more harm than good. Perhaps that job we didn't get would have led us away from our values. Perhaps that relationship we longed for would have taken us away from Allah. Perhaps that opportunity we thought was perfect would have turned into a burden we could not bear. The delays and denials we experience are often Allah's way of protecting us and redirecting us toward what is truly better. When the blessing finally arrives, it tastes sweeter because we know the journey of patience and faith it took to reach it. So the next time you feel as though your prayers are being delayed, remind yourself that Allah's silence is not rejection, it is protection. Behind every delay lies a hidden blessing, and behind every withheld request lies a greater gift waiting for the right time. Trust in Him, for He never withholds except to give you something better. When we reflect on the stories of the prophets, we find a recurring theme that brings immense comfort to our hearts. Allah never abandons His servants. Every prophet faced trials that seemed insurmountable, yet through those challenges they were elevated, honored, and granted outcomes far greater than anyone could have imagined. Their lives are reminders to us that hardship does not mean abandonment, and delay does not mean denial. Instead, every struggle is part of Allah's perfect plan, designed to strengthen faith and prepare His chosen ones for greater responsibility and success. Take the story of Prophet Yub alayhi salam. He was blessed with health, wealth, and family, but Allah tested him with severe trials. His health was taken, his wealth vanished, and even his loved ones were lost. To the outside world, it may have seemed that he was left with nothing, but in reality, he still had the most powerful gift of all, his unwavering faith. Despite years of suffering, Yub alayhi salam never gave up hope in Allah, never lost his patience, and never doubted His mercy. And when Allah's timing came, He restored everything to him in abundance, showing us that no servant who remains steadfast is ever left empty-handed. Similarly, consider Prophet Yusuf alayhi salam, young boy. He was thrown into a well by his own brothers, sold as a slave, and later imprisoned for a crime he did not commit. Imagine the feelings of loneliness and despair he might have endured. Yet, through every stage of his hardship, Allah was shaping his destiny. That well was not the end of him. It was the beginning of a journey that would lead him to become a leader in Egypt. His imprisonment was not humiliation. It was preparation for honor. What looked like loss was actually the foundation of a greater victory. This teaches us that our darkest moments may be the very stepping stones toward our greatest blessings, if only we trust Allah's timing. Even the beloved Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam faced rejection, hardship, and loss. He was mocked, persecuted, and forced out of his own city. Yet, through patience, perseverance, and complete reliance on Allah, he was eventually granted the greatest victory, establishing Islam and guiding humanity toward the truth. Every difficulty he endured was not a sign of being forsaken, but a sign of being chosen for a mission greater than anyone could imagine. So whenever you face trials, remember the patience of Ayyub alayhi salam, the journey of Yusuf alayhi salam, and the resilience of Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wasallam. Their struggles remind us that Allah's help is always near, and no believer is ever left alone. One of the greatest struggles we face in life is learning to let go of our own plans and trusting the plan of Allah. As human beings, we dream, we plan, and we strive, but our vision is limited. We see only a small part of the picture, while Allah sees it all, the past, the present, and the future that has not yet unfolded. Often we convince ourselves that what we want is best for us, and when it doesn't happen, we feel hurt, disappointed, or even forgotten. But if we reflect deeply, we will realize that what we want is not always what we need, and what Allah chooses for us is always what is best. His timing and His plan are perfect, even when they do not match our desires. There are many moments in life when we desperately chase something, believing it will bring us happiness. Perhaps it is a job, a relationship, or an opportunity that we think is the key to our success. But sometimes Allah prevents us from reaching it or delays it until we are ready because He knows what lies ahead. What may look like success to us might actually bring harm, and what may appear as a setback may be protecting us from greater pain. It is only when we surrender to Allah's wisdom that we find true peace, because we no longer measure our happiness by what we get, but by the certainty that whatever Allah gives is exactly what we need. The truth is, our plans are fragile, but Allah's plan is flawless. How many times have we thought something was the end of the road, only to discover later that it was the beginning of a better path? How many times have we cried over something we lost, only to thank Allah later for saving us from it? This is the beauty of trusting Him. When we rely on our limited understanding, we fall into despair, but when we rely on His infinite wisdom, our hearts find rest. So when life doesn't go according to your plan, remind yourself that it is still going according to Allah's plan, and His plan is always better. Surrender your heart to Him, and you will never be disappointed, for Allah's wisdom is perfect, and His timing never fails. When we talk about trusting Allah's timing and His wisdom, it is important to remember that two qualities open the doors of blessings in our lives: gratitude and hope. Gratitude is the acknowledgement of what Allah has already given us, while hope is the certainty that what He has not yet given us is still within His mercy and power. Together, they protect the heart from despair and keep us connected to Allah, no matter how difficult life becomes. Gratitude begins with recognizing even the smallest of blessings. Too often we focus on what we lack rather than what we have, forgetting that the very ability to breathe, to see, to hear, to walk, and to think are priceless gifts from Allah. How many people are deprived of what we take for granted every single day? A grateful heart shifts the focus from what is missing to what is present, and in doing so, it finds peace. Allah promises in the Quran, "If you are grateful, I will surely increase you." Gratitude is not only about saying Alhamdulillah with our tongues, but also about living in a way that shows we value Allah's favors. It is about using our health in good deeds, our wealth in charity, our knowledge in service, and our time in worship. The more we live with gratitude, the more blessings flow into our lives, often in ways we never imagined. Alongside gratitude, hope is what carries us through the waiting. Hope in Allah means believing that no matter how dark the night is, the dawn will come. It means trusting that no matter how many times we fall, Allah's mercy is greater than our mistakes. Hope allows us to face tomorrow without fear because we know Allah's plan is always better than our own. Without hope, our hearts grow heavy and despair takes root. But with hope, even the most painful trial becomes bearable because we believe in the goodness that lies ahead. So let us live with gratitude for every blessing we have, no matter how small, and with hope for every prayer that is yet to be answered. For when we trust Allah's timing with thankful hearts and hopeful souls, we realize that we are never left empty-handed, but always held in the mercy of the one who loves us most.